Eustace Kid has just taken his most convincing defeat in the series, with him and his entire crew being completely decimated by Shanks, before even making landfall at Elbaf. While Kid is no stranger to taking L's, this one in particular is a bit different. Many fans are looking at this as simply Oda hyping up Shanks, but they are missing out on a very subtle setup that Oda is putting into place, a setup that makes the race for the One Piece much closer. There are only so many ways we can look at this defeat for Eustace Kid. Either him and his entire crew are dead, and we will never see them again in the story, or they are alive, and we will see them later in the story. If this was any other manga, I would believe that Kid and his crew are dead, but this is One Piece. I believe that we will see the Kid pirates again in the story, but this time they will be different. The manner in which Kid was defeated leads me to believe that he will return to the story as a changed man, and that this defeat is a defining moment for Kid's character development. In this video, I will explain how I believe this defeat will change Kid, and the setup that Oda is putting in place for Shanks, as well as a surprise you may not see coming. Shanks defeating Kid was a very deliberate choice by Oda. Not only does it hype up Shanks as an insanely powerful fighter, but it also gives Shanks 2 poneglyph rubbings. The final road poneglyph is most likely on Elbaf, and Shanks most likely already has it. Now that Shanks has defeated Kid, he would have 3 rubbings, meaning he would only be missing 1 more poneglyph rubbing to find the One Piece. Even if Shanks has 3 rubbings, he has no way of reading them, but that is why Oda chose to have Shanks defeat Kid, to put Shanks in proximity to one man, Killer. It is my belief that Killer may be a member of the Three-Eyed Tribe. I am not the first person to come to this theory, but it makes a lot of sense in hindsight. He wears a mask all the time to cover his face, and even when he was Kamazo the Manslayer, he kept his face covered in bandages. Even in the picture of Killer as a child, he had his hair long enough to obscure his forehead, similar to Pudding. Through Pudding, we have seen how she was bullied as a child because of her third eye, and now how she was kidnapped because of her third eye. This isn't a wild theory either. Killer was introduced during the Sabaody arc, an arc in which Oda foreshadowed many things to be revealed later. In one arc, he foreshadowed the Minks, the Tontada, the Smile Fruits, advanced armament hockey, as well as the mysterious connection between Trafalgar Law and X-Drake. It would not surprise me if Oda also hit a member of the Three-Eyed Tribe right in our faces, without us knowing. This makes sense as Kid was collecting poneglyph rubbings, but never showed interest in capturing a member of the Three-Eyed Tribe, or Nico Robin. Kid is not as smart as Dr. Vegapunk, but he is not as dumb as Luffy. He knows that he would need someone to read him the poneglyph rubbings. That's where his partner, Killer, comes in. If Killer is a member of the Three-Eyed Tribe, Shanks may take him prisoner, similar to Blackbeard's kidnapping of Pudding. During the Wano arc, we saw how far Killer was willing to go to protect Kid, eating a Smile Devil Fruit, and even subjecting himself to becoming Orochi's subordinate. If Kid's life is on the line, Killer would read the poneglyphs for Shanks without hesitation. I made a video about how I believe Law vs Blackbeard will play out. I will link it in the description and in the card above. Continuing from that video, Luffy already has 3 poneglyph rubbings, only missing the final one. Blackbeard will defeat Law and take his rubbings, so he will also have 3, only missing the final one. Now that Shanks has defeated Kid, and assuming the final poneglyph is on Elbaf, Shanks would also have 3 rubbings. That means there is a 3-way tie for the One Piece between Luffy, Shanks, and Blackbeard. That also means that Blackbeard and Luffy would need the rubbing from Elbaf, being guarded by Shanks, and Shanks would need the rubbing from Zou, that Luffy and Blackbeard would both possess. That would mean that 3 of the Yonko have 3 road poneglyph rubbings, and people who are capable of reading them, making the race to find the One Piece much more interesting. This could lead to a confrontation between Blackbeard and Shanks, or Luffy and Shanks. Or if Oda wanted to really spice things up, the Straw Hats versus the Red-Haired Pirates, followed by the Black-Beard Pirates versus the Red-Haired Pirates still recovering from their fight against the Straw Hats. This would give us the long-awaited Blackbeard versus Shanks, and make it more likely for Blackbeard to defeat Shanks, if he is already very injured. Blackbeard is the Edge and Randy Orton of One Piece. He is the ultimate opportunist, slithering in the background waiting for the right time to strike. Blackbeard does not do fair fights, he only fights when he has the advantage. He backstabbed Thatch to steal his Devil Fruit, and he masterminded Marineford, so he could fight a heavily injured Whitebeard to take his Devil Fruit. If Shanks and his crew are injured from their fight with the Straw Hats, Blackbeard will strike, taking the poneglyph rubbing from Elbaf in the process, and eliminating Shanks. Of course, this is just speculation. On this day, in the New World by Elbaf, the Kid pirate crew led by Eustace Captain Kidd, a man worth 3 billion, was completely eradicated. If these words sound familiar, they should, because Luffy faced a similar defeat at Sabaody. Oda has drawn many similarities between Luffy and Kid. Although Kid is much more lethal in his approach, Luffy and Kid are very much alike in many ways. They are both rash pirates who rush into conflict, they both never run from fights, they both have right-hand men who would give their lives for them, and they both have fought 3 of the Yonko at different points in the story. Even the manner of their defeats were similar. Going back to Luffy's defeat at Sabaody, Luffy in his anger punched a Celestial Dragon, which in turn made a Navy Admiral and pacifistas go to Sabaody to eliminate the Straw Hats. If it wasn't for Kuma's intervention, the Straw Hats would have been completely eradicated. Luffy's actions put his entire crew in danger, and he was not able to protect them. Kid took his crew into danger, and his actions led to the downfall of his entire crew. Luffy's defeat at Sabaody put him on a losing streak, where he lost his crew at Sabaody, was defeated by Magellan at Impel Down. Things started to go his way when he rescued Ace, but we all know where that went. The death of Ace brought Luffy to his lowest point in the series. After Luffy's losing streak, he had to come to terms with reality, and understand that he was not strong enough to achieve his dreams, and protect his friends in the process. In contrast, Kid has been losing ever since he arrived in the New World, losing his arm to an ally of Shanks, being defeated by Kaido. Things started to go his way when he teamed up with Law to defeat Big Mom. Now he has led his crew to be defeated by Shanks. Kid is now at his lowest point in the series, the same place Luffy was after Marineford. Luffy's defeat at Sabaody was actually a great lesson for him to learn in hindsight. From that defeat, Luffy and the Straw Hats returned as a much more powerful pirate crew. Oda has already shown Kid's incredibly strong will, similar to Luffy. Where other pirates had their wills crushed, Luffy and Kid remained defiant. No matter how many times they are defeated, they get back up stronger than ever. What Kid does from this point forward will define him as a character. Defeat is a powerful tool used in storytelling. I am sure we can all think of a TV show or an anime where a character is defeated, and from that defeat they completely change. To name a few examples, it was Sasuke's defeat by Itachi, which ultimately led him to joining Orochimaru, and set him on a course that changed him for the rest of the series. It was Vegeta's defeat at the hands of Goku, which started a change in his character, and put him on a path he is still on to this day. And there are many more examples, but you get my point. Oda may be using this defeat to steer Kid's character in a different direction. Alright, so Kid has been defeated in a very decisive manner, but can he ever make a comeback? Whilst the gut reaction is to say no, when you really think about it, it is very likely that he does make a comeback. It wasn't too long ago that the Wano arc started with Luffy being defeated by Kaido in one hit, but by the end of the arc, Luffy was evenly matched against Kaido, with some fans believing that Luffy would defeat Kaido in a 1v1. Kid's defeat is very similar, and whilst him fighting on par with Shanks is a long ways away, he can still become much more powerful in the future. Oda could have had Shanks defeat Kid near any island, but he specifically chose Elbaf, an island the Straw Hats will visit in the near future. He even went one step further, having Kid's ship destroyed, and showing that even if he wanted to leave Elbaf, he would not be able to until he gets a new ship. Elbaf is an island the Straw Hats have wanted to visit ever since Little Garden, an island Oda has been building to for over 20 years. When they eventually do go to Elbaf, the Kid pirates will be there. A pirate ship is a part of a pirate crew's identity, with each ship being unique, reflecting the crew that resides on it. The Thousand Sunny is made from the wood from the jewel tree Adam, the strongest tree in the world. There are only a few places in the world where that tree grows. Elbaf may be one of those places, meaning that Kid's new ship may be made from Adam wood. Oda has yet to show us the Adam tree in the story, and with only a few arcs remaining, this would be a great place to show it. Kid's new ship will reflect the change in his character. The old Eustace Captain Kid is dead, sinking to the bottom of the ocean. What emerges in his place will be a new Kid, a man who understands his place in the world, a changed man. We have yet to see Kid and Killer's backstory, and Elbaf may be the place where we get it. Law's backstory helped us to understand what makes him the man that he is today, and Kid and Killer's backstory will help us to understand what drives them to move forward. Does Kid make a comeback? Can he ever redeem himself? Or is this it for him in the story? Has Kid learned a lesson from this defeat, or will he come back the same as ever? Do you want to see him make a comeback, or are you just done with him altogether? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or dislike if you didn't, and consider subscribing for more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching.